Okay, now I found my scissors. I want to talk to you about how to make hair and beards and mustaches and eyebrows and even fur, down to animal fur. Okay, I like to use a variety of different things I've collected over the years, and being a nail artist, I've acquired even these little tiny ones here that have smaller little fans. And depending on the company, I bought a big kit of nail art, uh, about 20 different brushes one time years ago, and it came with two different varieties. And one is really, really soft. So the white ones are really, really soft compared to the Teflon orange ones. Okay? And then with the Donna Dewberry little mini brush kit, it comes with a lot of little tiny brushes so that if you're doing jewelry or um, any nail art, definitely, it comes with a tiny little fan brush. So it's a nice little set to have if you do want to start doing some tiny work. And why I like having it around too is because sometimes I have to utilize it in some of my projects as well. So if you're doing the eyebrows, it might be a little easier to do it with a tinier one. So maybe you have found one through the years and you forgot about it. Dig it out because you're going to need it. And then in the Dawn Dewberry kits, I have two different ones again. One's a little bit bigger than the other. One is from her Pro set, and one is from her regular set. Okay, so this one's a lot denser and thicker. Okay, so if you really want to put on a lot of paint, the thicker and denser the brush or bristles, the more paint you're going to be able to pick up, or more water it'll hold, right, to really slide those strokes. So when you're doing palm trees and stuff like that, these are great brushes to use, especially if you're doing big projects, right? You need a bigger fan brush. There's also a feather brush. Okay, this was again in her Pro set, right? I'm not sure she sells them individually. That's where I got mine. I can get some of these separately, So if you just want that brush, I get it for you. And it's just really wispy at the end. We call that a feather brush. Okay. So option C, again, you can always use a pointed brush. Okay, another brush from her Pro set, but they also sell the completer set, which has the pointed brushes as well, which is like a huge detailer. Okay, so again, you can do like little wisps with that too, and do all his little, all the waves and stuff like that with one of these. You can double load one of these as well. So there's a couple different ways we can do his fur. And again, sometimes we start laying out color and then we go back and we pop in little details here and there. So again, it's nice to have a variety of brushes to get a couple different densities so that you're really getting a nice unique look with the way the curls go. Okay, so then I guess option D or E or wherever we left off. This is an old flat brush. It's been in the water too much. And it's gone, the chisel's gone on it. Actually, I don't even think this is a Donna Dewberry brush, but I went in my pile of brushes and I sometimes use these brushes for glitter. So then that way I don't care if there's glitter in them, right? So, because I can't get a nice chisel with these. So I'll use them for other purposes. I never throw a brush out until it's like totally, totally gone. I use it for varnish or something and I don't want to clean it out and then it's hard as a rock. That's the only way my brushes go in the garbage. But definitely, an old brush is really handy to do too. The only thing is really thick at the end. Okay, so this is why I have my scissors out. You're going to learn to be hairdressers for your brush. Okay, so hold it towards you like this and start doing little chops. And if you have really wispy haircuts, you might even have seen your hairdresser do this to your hair. Okay, so you're just going to keep chomping and chomping and chomping and a little bit on an angle so you're getting almost like little V's cut into it. I don't know how sharp your scissors are. Okay, these are my craft scissors, so I don't know if I want to get my hairdressing scissors out. Okay, so if you have a little bit sharper scissors, I just want to show you that you can make your own feather brush. Okay, and just keep chomping it. Thin it right out. If you if you happen to have a pair of thinning shears, you know, I'm tempted to go get mine right now. But just take your time, cut off that corner a little bit so it's a little bit softer on those corners. Okay? So if we look at our one that we paid good money for, okay, let's see if I can get you a little closer. Okay, so we'll do a little comparison here with making, this is definitely a lot denser and thicker. So you see it on the side profile, still a lot fatter. So if you want to thin it down more, you can always take your scissors and just kind of gently go under that first layer, right? And thin it out right at the base, as short as you can get it. I might go get my little sharper scissors that I have for cutting other things, and see if I can get a little bit closer to the barrel. Oops, I'm so sorry. Off the camera. Okay, so get so involved in what I'm doing, I kind of forgot that I got you up nice and close. So I'll show you on this side what you didn't see on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going in very, very slowly, trying to take away that first layer, okay, a little at a time, all the way across the back, both sides. So this is an old 12, I think. Okay, so now we've got it a lot thinner than it was before, and you can just play with it. I would wet it down and get some paint out and see what it's doing for you before you decide to cut more off. Okay, so this one is a lot thicker than Donna Dewberry brushes. Like I said, I can barely see through the writing. I can tell that it's something I probably picked up years ago at Michael's. Unfortunately, in Canada, you know, I wish I was so close to some good resources in the States. Okay, so as I did this on a paper towel, so I could just fold that up and try and keep it all contained and put it in the garbage. Okay, so now I can see that I want to go up a little higher in my scissoring. That would be better. Sharper areas that are not used as much. Okay, so that's looking pretty wispy. And if anything's too crazy on the side, you can always trim them down because you don't want stray hairs to be sticking out on the side when you can control those guys. Okay, so you can always trim them down a little bit if there's lots sticking up the side. I want this a little bit wispy so you can see that I'm not chomping always in different areas. I'm trying to concentrate on the same area so I can really thin out like every millimeter of this brush. So you see in the middle it's still, I'm trying to work that same area so I can get those little V's almost in there. Yeah, that's starting to look a little better. You can see that, I think. Okay. Just in the middle. So take your time, try to do it even. There we go. I've got a little bit more jaggedy things going on there. Okay. It's okay if one side's a little bit more wispier than the other because then, like you've seen before with the way I brush, sometimes I only use one part of my brush. I don't use the whole brush flat. Or, you know, I can tip and use just half a brush, just using the corner. Okay, so there you go. You've made yourself your own little feather brush. Okay, so I'm not sure what you have, but hopefully, you know, I do prefer the ones that you buy. Again, there's nothing like one of these, I'm sure. And the length is there too. You can see that you'll get a longer wisp with the longer brush, right? So this one's still a little short. So you don't want to shorten your brush when you're cutting it, okay, folks? Try to keep your length original. You're just really thinning it out. Okay, not shortening it. Okay, you want that length there so you can get that wispiness when you're making your strokes. Follow through with some little really free ends. But this will work too, okay? And sometimes it's nice to have a stubbier one for different purposes than this too. So it works to your advantages to have that little stumpy, like it'll be a nice pouncer too. You can use it still as a pouncer. And so some little advanced tricks for you guys that you thought that I showed you all of them. Well, guess what? There's always something up my sleeve. I'm going to need quite a bit of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is wet my brush. And I also have some floating medium in here too, so you can always add a little bit to show you a little experiment with our homemade brush. Brush is all over there. Okay, so you can see if I was even doing a palm tree. Okay, I'm getting really nice wisps. So I just water it down and then just keep picking up little bits of paint just on the tips to get these little streaky marks. Okay. And if you want them to go further, you just might have to add a little bit more floating medium so that they'll, flow. Okay. So you can see this is great practice to on the gray paper. Okay. So this is what we're going to do, is try to gray down our background a little bit so that these white wisps can come out. So at the top of his, take your time, his mustache, practice on paper, okay, and so you're ready. A little bit more floating medium. So this is all we're going to do, is play with our whisper. Okay, so yeah, it works pretty good. I'm loving it.